Good morning, sixth graders. Get excited to show how much you have learned this year. Done a fantastic job in ELA, so let's get some last prep. You are going to do amazing, or as Mr. Amadio likes to say, keep it 100. So the first trick we're going to teach you is that if you see an unknown word on the test, use your morphemes. There's going to be some tricky ones, but you are going to see the suffix etic, and that means related to or similar to. So for example, if you see energetic, that's the suffix etic. What do you think energetic means? What about athletic? I bet you see the suffix all the time and don't even realize it. Athletic. And then apologetic. What could apologetic mean? Right. If someone is apologetic, you probably see them apologizing a lot. So another thing you're going to need to make sure you know is point of view. What is point of view? So point of view is a character's opinion, perspective, and what's going on inside a character's head. So whenever you're asked for point of view, sort of picture these thought bubbles right here. Picture that a character with this, and then whatever is inside of this is sort of their point of view. In Hatchet, we learn about Brian's point of view through, his inner dialogue is really what's telling us what's going on in his head all the time. But sometimes authors don't just give us their inner dialogue. Sometimes they give us little clues, and we have to make inferences about what a character's point of view is. Just like we did in Lamb to the Slaughter, we didn't have Mary's inner dialogue the whole time. But what was Mary's point of view in Lamb to the Slaughter? Okay, and unlike Hatchet, where Paulson gave us Brian's point of view through inner dialogue, how was Mary's point of view mostly developed and revealed? How did we know her point of view? Awesome. So today, here's how essay writing is going to work for your benchmark. Today, you're analyzing the plot of two passages you'll read. So you're not writing a story. You're going to do a literary analysis. Read two passages and write about them. And then tomorrow is the fun stuff. That's when you're going to do narrative writing, just like how you did with your awesome Sumer narrative. So just get through this one tougher one today, and tomorrow is when we get to have a blast being creative. I think you're really going to like tomorrow's prompt. So this is something a little bit tricky you're going to see, and I just want to break it down for you right now. If you're asked, how does paragraph blank contribute to the plot? Just think of all the plot parts in conflict, and then ask yourself which one it is. So just like the activity we did Friday with the story and with our narratives, like when you shared a part of your narrative, I know at least a couple classes did this, and we had to and people had to guess what part it was. So for example, how does this contribute to the development of the plot in Lamb to the Slaughter? All right, she told herself, so I've killed him. Okay, so now that we understand that, we're going to take it a step further. Try and be as specific as possible with where in the plot it falls, in the plot part it falls. So for example, how does the following passage fit into the text and contribute to the development of the plot? At that point, Mary Maloney simply walked up behind him, and without any pause, she swung the big frozen leg of lamb high in the air and brought it down as hard as she could on the back of his head. So, see how specific that was? It marks the very beginning of the climax instead of just saying the climax. So if you want to, be as specific as you can. So now that we know that, what would this one have said? All right, she told herself, so I've killed him. Great. So try and be as specific as possible if you're writing about where in the plot it is. Is it the beginning of the conflict? Does it mark the very beginning of the exposition? Does it show where the rising action is just ending and turning into the climax? Be specific about what that part or paragraph does for the plot. So now let's take it one step trickier. If you are asked to do this, ready? Analyze paragraph 6 of Lamb to the Slaughter and chapter 10 of Hatchet. How does each passage fit into the structure of the text and contribute to the development of the plot? Rage. So wait a second. I read this and I know it's asking me two things. So I need two rages because the first thing I have to do is talk about how paragraph 6 of Lamb to the Slaughter fits into the development of the plot. So I'm going to go ahead in and see, all right, is that my rising action? Is my climax? Stuff like that. And then also how chapter 10 of Hatchet contributes to the development of the plot. So I'll answer two rages about those. So this is like a really good way if you're asked a two-part question about how two different things contribute to the development to break it down, sort of make two rage paragraphs. One, you would say, how does paragraph 6 of Lamb to the Slaughter contribute to the development of the plot? And then rage that out. And then a second paragraph that does the same thing for chapter 10 of Hatchet. Contribute to the development of the plot. Rage. Awesome. Let's keep going. So when thinking about the development of the plot, keep another couple tips in mind. There is the exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution, and conflict. Even though conflict is not one of those 5 plot parts, it still is a part of our plot, so it's okay to use that as an answer. And then be as specific as possible. So again, here would be like a fine or a decent R and A to your rage. Paragraphs 18 and 17, contribute to Lamb to the Slaughter because they're in the climax. But then here's that specific example we were talking about. Paragraphs 18 through 27 contribute to the plot of Lamb to the Slaughter by establishing the beginning of the climax and getting the big major action started. So again, see how this one is specific with where it actually falls. It doesn't just say that it's the climax, but it says it's the beginning of the climax. I'll read the second one now. A decent one would be chapter 10 of Hatchet contributes to the plot because it is the conflict. But then a better answer, chapter 10 of Hatchet contributes to the plot by revealing the major person versus person conflict in the story. So see how that's just far more specific, and it says that it reveals the conflict. Fantastic job. If you did not understand some of this, please go back and watch it again, because I know you can do great on it, but it takes a little bit to stick. When you're done from there, take out your independent reading book.